I often talk about my own business background. It's a point of real pride that right out of college I took an idea, pen to paper. I got 13 investors that took a risk on me and that idea, and I opened a small business with one part-time employee, Pat Kelly. That business is still around all these years later. We've been able to grow it to multiple businesses all up and down the state. I say that not to impress any of you, but to impress upon you my passion for entrepreneurialism, my passion for small businesses, and the journey that every small business man and woman is on, and all the stress, but also all those magical moments that small businesses are part of. Today, I had the privilege of meeting another small business leader by the name of Antoinette, who owns a little business in Natomas, California, a little coffee store, Maestro's Coffee Store. She's been able over the last year and a half to weather opening of that new business, as well as weather all the headwinds from this COVID-induced recession. We had an opportunity to meet with her because she is part of the narrative, part of the story of perseverance in this great state. Not only the perseverance of taking an idea herself and making this small business work, but also employing 8 people in the process and being able to work to get some of that PPP money from the federal government to help support that business. And now she's taking advantage of some of the small business grants the state of California is putting forth. And so I wanted to talk a little bit today about our economic recovery package, about what the state's doing to support small businesses, what we're doing to support the entrepreneurial spirit during this very, very challenging and difficult time. We're putting out today, and this is a preview of a budget package that we're putting out later in the week, $4.5 billion of business supports. We have immediate relief that we're proposing for small businesses, as well as a broader initiative for small business retention and advancing our entrepreneurial strategy, workforce development plans, strategies to jumpstart through investments in deferred maintenance, job creation, more housing supports to do the same, and then a strategy to advance our low carbon green growth through a zero emissions vehicle strategy. Let's start with the immediate relief for small businesses. We're putting out $1.75 billion, almost $1.1 billion for our small businesses, building on existing $500 million grant existing grant program that we were able to work in partnership with the California legislature. This program provides grants anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000. We want to build on that program that's just been launched in partnership with the legislature. We want to provide an additional $575 million in grants, getting up to that close to $1.1 billion. And by the way, if you're not familiar with this grant program, these grants are available. We're putting that process, we just put it in place. We extended the first deadline for grants on that first $500 million through the 13th of this month. You can go to careliefgrant.com. Go to careliefgrant.com. Learn more about how to get these. Are not loans. These are grants, $5,000 to $25,000, not just for small businesses, but also for cultural institutions as well as nonprofits. We're also putting out for immediate relief, hoping to work with the legislature to move fee waivers forward on businesses that have been most impacted by this pandemic. About 59,000 licensees just in the restaurant and bar industry, about 53,000 that are part of incredible mosaic of barbers and cosmetologists and manicurists and the like. And those fees we want to waive into the new year, and we're looking to do some immediate support in that space. $70.6 million is being proposed for these fee waivers and that relief. We're also looking to put up close to $750 million, a little over $750 million, to build on our successful California Competes tax credit. Very formalized program. It's about retention and recruitment of businesses with job guarantees. We want to put an additional $430 million up, build $180 million off the existing tax credit program, and put an additional $250 million, total $430 of new grants, and sort of expand the eligibility in that program. We want to build on our Main Street tax credit program that we provided $100 million for in the existing budget. These are tax credits of $1,000 per employee, up to $100,000 per business of tax credits for businesses that are employing people during this very difficult time. So another $100 million we're proposing through this initiative. We're also looking at loan guarantees of $100 million, building on this rebuilding fund. We worked with Janet Yellen, the former Fed chair, now new Treasury Secretary, if she's appointed, or approved rather, by the next administration, the Biden administration. She worked on our jobs and workforce task force, came up with an idea on this rebuilding fund, which is all about leverage. So that $100 million is all about leveraging additional resources and loan guarantee programs for those that aren't getting SBA loans, aren't getting PPP loans and the like. We want to do more sales tax exclusions. I'll talk more in a moment about some of the work we did to help support and defer sales tax collections. But we want to provide sales tax exclusions, particularly to advance our innovation in the climate space and energy and transportation. We are proposing $100 million in that space. And then $35 million to build on our Dream Fund. We put $10 million last year in the Dream Fund. These are $10,000 grants for those entrepreneurs that truly are having a difficult time getting loan guarantees or getting loans for traditional loans through credit unions or banks and the like. So $35 million to build on that $10 million we put up last year. Workforce, you can't talk about economic development without workforce development. And that's why we're proposing $353 million of additional money on workforce development. We really want to line up our higher education strategies to where the puck is going, meaning where the economy is going. So we want to strengthen those partnerships and making sure we have degrees that really have attainment in terms of jobs at the on the back end. And so that's what the higher ed employment alignment strategy all about. All kinds of apprenticeship programs and apprenticeships in obviously construction, but apprentices in forestry, apprentices in healthcare. We really want to push the apprenticeship model forward, work-based learning models, cybersecurity apprenticeships, all these others that you could see here listed in this workforce development package. I talked about deferred maintenance. This is not part of the $10 billion, unprecedented. $10 billion we're putting for infrastructure. A lot of that from SB1, a lot of that just part of our 5-year capital plan. This is separate and above from that. $300 million of additional supports for deferred maintenance to Department of Water Resources, Judicial Branch, Forestry, Fire Protection. These are things get things moving, get dollars out there, leverage programs, leverage private sector dollars, leverage other state, federal dollars that are regional dollars, grant funds. Again, this is all about stimulating economic growth, creating jobs. In addition to that, housing, one of the great economic stimulators in terms of getting jobs going, getting real sort of multiples in terms of job supports, direct, indirect jobs specifically. We're looking to provide $500 million in infill infrastructure grants to unlock over 7,500 new permanent affordable homes. These are for supports for sewer, roads, site preparations. Info grant program has been very successful. We put up money last year. We want to put up another $500 million this year in this proposal. And I talked about low carbon green growth, changing the way we produce and consume energy, addressing the issue of greenhouse gas emissions. No better place, no smarter, more impactful place than addressing our emissions coming from vehicles. We have some audacious goals to get to 100% alternative fuel vehicles by 2035. In order to advance that, we want to advance some efforts, $1.5 billion in supports for purchasing clean trucks, buses, other equipment. Clean Cars for All program, which we think is a big success here in the state, has again a multiplier effect, as well as leverage private sector resources on building out our infrastructure for our zero emission fleets. I want to just briefly mention in closing the additional actions that we've taken to date. I mentioned the $500 million in those small business grants, the $100 million in that hiring tax credit. That's what we did in the existing fiscal year and the work we want to do, build on those. But we also provided a waiver for all startups. $100 million we put up, a lot of people aren't familiar with this, to waive that minimum franchise tax of $800, which is really a tax, truly a tax for an entrepreneur to start a business. You'd think we'd be providing you $800 for an incentive to start a business, but we want to just waive that completely this year. We want people to take advantage of that program. We also have this sales tax relief, which is interest-free payment plans, and then the possibility to float up to billions of dollars of sales tax to address more immediate needs. People should take advantage of that program, need to be made aware of that program, and I'll tell you how in a second. And as well, we also provided exclusion. I want to thank the legislature for a lot of support across the spectrum of all of these actions to date, but also for this PPP loan state tax exemption for loan forgiveness, which is something that not many people are familiar with, that we were able to accomplish this last year. In addition to that, we were able to do something that also needs to be promoted, and that's to support just shy of 10,000 jobs in the food industry. Restaurants have been so hard hit. 10,000 jobs have been supported in our Great Plates initiative, served over 22 million meals to seniors. This is an incredible program. We just got it extended through February 6th. We hope to get extended well beyond that, but it's now been extended for an additional month. And I want folks to know, restaurateurs out there in particular, learn about this program. Hundreds and hundreds of businesses have, and they're taking they're taking advantage of helping support seniors and helping support their own staff and their businesses. Go to gov.ca.gov to learn more about the Great Plates program. And then on all these other programs, you can go to business.ca.gov, business.ca.gov. And I hope when you do that, you'll learn not only about the existing supports, but also learn about these 86 small business centers that are now open across the state. We put $20 million to help support our small business network in last year's budget. These are navigators to help you, with access to capital, adapt to all these new rules and regulations, but also provide information on all these supports that we're not only promoting now in this new budget, but these supports that we provided in the past. Small businesses are the backbone of our economy. And I recognize the headwinds, I recognize the stress, I recognize all that you have been put through over the course of the last year. And I just want folks to know this $4.5 billion package is not all we'll be doing for small businesses, but it is a significant investment, and we're looking forward in this new budget to move quickly in early action, immediate and early action with the legislature to help support our businesses through this very, very challenging time.